Hi everyone, Emma here. I'm so excited to show you how to make this bracelet. So we're going to use different colors for the demonstration just because these are so similar in color that because you use two types of beads. So there's 11O seed beads and these gorgeous beads, and I can't remember where I got them. And these ones came, I'm guessing, from the same place. It was either Potomac Beads or Jill Wiseman for the grab bag sales, which reminds me, she must be getting ready for her. I don't know, maybe. And I was going to say she must be getting ready for her grab bag sale, but then I thought I remember her saying she wasn't going to do that anymore, that she was going to do like these mini sales. So I'll have to look into that and I'll let you know. But anyway, this turned out so amazing. I feel like this type of bead, it's like a clear bead with inside color. And when you look at this at a distance, it looks like mermaid scales. Of course, I would say that. So let's see what we're going to need for this design. So I'm using these beads here. They're like a greeny turquoise color. And these 11O Duracoat galvanized yellow gold seed beads. Yeah, I said 11O. I'm using green number 5 dragon thread from Potomac Beads and a size 10 needle. You're going to need a stop bead and some scissors. I'm using a BB craft clasp, so we'll do a few rows of these till it looks like we have it down, and then we will attach this. If you have any recommendations on types of clasp or design ideas for adding a clasp, let me know. I did some research and I couldn't find much. So take your stop bead, go down. You're going to put like a wingspan, at least if you can handle that much. Use whatever you can, but you will be adding thread to this. And I think I have a video that I'll be releasing showing you how to add thread to flat chenille. So we didn't say it. That's what this is. This is flat chenille, and I have to tell you that when I started beading, when I started my channel, I didn't know anything about beading. I did leather wrap bracelets and that was it. And so I learned everything from watching YouTube videos. I did watch a few of the really big people, well-known people, and I can't remember their names, but I could not do flat chenille to save my life. I just found it too confusing. And I don't know, maybe it was hand placement, whatever. So I'm going to attempt. This is funny, but I'm going to attempt to show you how to do it. So I have since done about 10 of these. So, and of course, I've already changed the design. So that I have multiples of designs coming out. You're going to flip out when you see them. I did. And I was there. So take your stop bead, you're going to put it on and then bring it down, leave enough of a tail to hang on to and sew back in or to add a clasp. So then take your needle and go up through the bottom of your stop bead. Hang on to that and pull your thread through. Put it wherever you need it there. Might bring mine down a bit. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to make this 5 sets wide, and I'll explain to you what a set is. You can alter that. You can do 4, 3. I'll have to check if we can do 2. That'll be one of my next challenges. So you have your 8O beads and your 11O beads, and let's show you my hands here and make sure there's enough light. I keep moving my mat, so it's like I'm running out of mat. Oh, this is like my 3rd time doing this video. I missed one bead at the very beginning, and I'm like, oh, that's annoying. And I'm like, no, I don't want to confuse people when I was confused when I started out. So start by 1 8O seed bead and 1/11. That bead looks small. Let me see. It might be just the lighting. So that's okay. So this is what I mean by a set. Let's enlarge this. So that's one set. So put that on. So pick up an 8/0, an 11/0, an 8/0, set number 2, 8/0, 11/0, 8/0, set number 3, 8/0, 11/0, 8/0, set number 4, 8/0, 11/0, 8/0, set number 5. So let's bring this down to the bottom next to your stop bead. So this is what you should have on your line. So I'm just going to pull them apart so you can see. So that's one set, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, you're going to take that and you're going to pick up an 11/0 and an 8/0. We're going to come down. You're going to skip this 8/0 and you're going to go through your 11/0. And let me try and grab hold of this. It's a bit wonky hanging on to things at the beginning, but it quickly gets back to where you need it. Here, let me show you here. So like that. So this is your edging bead. Okay, so now if you look here, you have sets of 2 of your 8/0s. So we're going to go ahead, we're coming out of this 11/0. We're going to pick up 2 8/0s. We're going to skip those 2. We're going to go through the 11/0. Let's grab hold of that and pull your thread through like that. I think it might be easier to see on the mat there. Okay, so pick up your next set of 2 8/0s. Coming out of this 11/0, you're going to skip those 2 8/0s and go through the next 11/0. That. Pick up 2 8/0s. You're coming out of this 11/0, you're going to skip those 2 8/0s and go through the next 11/0. This to me is peyote, but you have multiple beads, so they call it flat chenille. No, I'm just kidding. I'm dissing the flat chenille. For the longest time, I couldn't do it. I'm like, what's wrong with me? I can't do flat chenille. So you're coming out of this 11/0, skip the 2 8/0s. You've got your next 2 8/0s. Go through the 11/0. I'm just gonna hold on to it. So now you have, there's your stop bead, but you have an 8/0, and you also want to add one of these beads for your border. So we are gonna pick up an 8/0 and an 11/0. And you're gonna go through this 8/0 around through the 11/0 and through the first 8/0. So almost like a crisscross or an X. So let me try and do it so you can see. So through there, through there, through there. Look at that. Awesome. Love it when a plan comes together. Okay. Just my stop beads in the way there. So let's take a look at what we have so you can get an idea of what your work should look like. Here's my, flip it over here. This green's gonna look amazing. It looks kind of funny on the purple mat, but okay, so there. So now we are coming out of, so you're always working from this way to this way if you're right-handed. If you're left-handed, you could possibly, I mean, it's easy to flip it the other way. So, okay, so we're coming out of this. So these sets of 8/0s, we're now actually going to put an 11/0 in between each of these sets. So let's start 11/0. So you're going to pick up this 8/0. I think I need to hang on to it. Pick up this 8/0, skip that 11/0, go through the next 8/0 so that your thread's coming out of the middle of the two 8/0s. And pull that tight. 11/0. Coming out of this 8/0, we're going to pick up this 8/0, skip the 11/0, and go through the next 8/0. And you can see it's starting to snug up here. So 11/0. Coming out of this 8/0, we're going to pick up the next 8/0, skip the 11/0, and go through the next 8/0 like that. Putting that 11/0 in between those two beads. So we are coming out of this 8/0. This is not friendship. It gets easier. Okay, so we're going to go through the two 8/0s that are left on that set. And my needle slid out. That. Okay, so now we're going to turn around and do the next row. So on every other row, you're going to add one of these 11/0s to your edging. You can skip that. All you have to do is go across, just don't add it. So now we're going to add two 11/0s. Pass those, or sorry, two 8/0s. Pass those two 8/0s. Go through the 11/0. Like that. And we're going to do that all the way down. So we're just picking up two 8/0s. You're coming out of that 11. You're going to go through the next 11. My threads, I think I crossed my thread here. Let's see if I can. I'm going to pull on my stop bead to snug that up. I think it's a bit loose for my liking. There we go. That's better. Okay, two 8/0s. Go through the next 11/0. Two 8/0s. Go through the next 11/0. Now we're in kind of a precarious position here because our, let me flip this here. Our we have two 8/0s, but we don't have anything for our thread to grab onto. So what you want to do is, you can, there's two ways you can do this. You can take your thread and go through those two beads, come out this way and go a second time around, or you can add your two beads here and go around this way a second time. But I think it's better to go through your two 8/0s. And I apologize if it's confusing. I did the best I could to make this simple because I know how frustrating it was starting out. So we're going to add two beads here, and we are just going to take those two beads. We're going to skip that 11/0. We're going to go back through those two 8/0s that we just went through like that. and that will position our needle where we want it. Because now we're going to go through the sets of 2 8/0s and add our 11/0 bead. And you can see how this becomes repetitive, the same rows repeating. So let's go through, set ourselves up so we're in the middle of those 2 beads, and get our 11/0. Go through the next bead, but pick up the following 8/0 in the set and pull tight. Pick up an 11/0. You're coming out of this 8/0. You're going to go through the next one and then the following, the first of the next set of 2. That 11/0. Go through the 8/0. Pick up the next 8/0. Another 11/0. Go through the next 2 8/0s. Then we're going to pick up an 11/0, and there's just one left here, so we'll go through that one. And now we're ready to turn and go the next way down. But remember, I said every other, we're going to add an 11/0. So we want to pick up an 11/0 and an 8/0 because we need an 8/0 to be next to this one. So we've got our 11 and 8. We're going to go through this 11/0. And you see how it pulled the thread out because that bead was the last bead that we added. Just grab your thread this way and then pull it through. And just get that guy in place like that. So now we're going to go through and add the 2 8/0s all the way through. This is fun. This is the part that it's funny when I break things down like that. To me it makes more sense and it's so much more fun. So we're just going to go through and repeat, rinse and repeat till you have a bracelet or a scarf, depending on what season it is. I would totally wear a beaded scarf. That's giving me an idea for next winter. Of course, I shouldn't talk about winter. Okay, so we're coming to the end here, so we're going to go through this 11/0. There's our last set of 2. So again, we need to add something here. We're going to go through this 11/0 here, then add an 11/0 for our border and an 8/0 like that. And we're going to go through the 8/0 and then through the 11/0 and 8/0. I'm just on autopilot right now and we're crashing. So you can see how amazing this is. Let's keep going. We'll do at least one more row, if not 2, and then I'll show you how to put on the clasp. I mean, the clasp is a bit of I think it'll work out really well, but I want you guys to tell me what you think, or if you've seen any design ideas for a clasp for this type of bracelet. So, come to the end, pick up 2. So pick up 2 8/0s and then back through the 11/0s. That. And I, for some reason, often picked up 3 8/0s. You're like, there's this big lump. You're like, what? Who's been messing with my beading? So we're having lots of fun here. This is my 3rd attempt at this video. I'm had a very stressful day yesterday, or a very stressful couple of days, and it just feels like my head is just elsewhere. But so I'll let you in on the scoop. Okay, so now for this one, there's nothing for your thread to attach to, so you got to remember we're gonna go through these two here, and we're gonna add two. So I think it's these turnarounds sometimes, is if it's out of the ordinary, then it gets confusing. So we're going to take two beads because we need that set of two to match up with these guys. So go back through the two that we just went through. And then your needle is in the right position, or your thread's in the right position to start the next row. So now, if you look at this row, you're like, okay, what's missing in this row? We need our 11 O's in between our sets of two. So we're going to make our turn. We have an 11 O here, so we don't have to add one here. So we're going to go through the first 8 O and put an 11 O there. Then go through two. And I'll tell you, I feel like this needs to be tightened a bit. Those are kind of loose. There. Yeah, so if you've been following my channel, I've been waiting for a steroid injection into my SI joint because it's jammed. This has been going on for a year now, and I've been getting different treatments and stuff like that, but I've lost 2 inches off of the one leg that it's affecting, and it's gotten to the point now where I can barely walk in the morning and can't sit for long times at my desk. But so I saw a sports medicine specialist, and he was going to order the injection. They have to do it with a CT scan, so it has to be a radiologist or anesthetist that does it, because it's a very tiny joint that it goes into. So I'm just going to turn while we're talking. So we're going to add, so if you look, there's one bead and then there's none in this section. So we need that extra 11 O there. Pick up an 8 O and go through the 11 O. And that should set us up for the next row. Yeah, so it took 4 months to see the sports medicine specialist, so I was a little annoyed with that. But and then I saw him, this guy, I saw him years ago, and he had ordered high doses of morphine that was just ridiculous. I had a hamstring injury, and it was severe. And it wasn't until he ordered the SI joint injection that I got better. So, he kept adding more morphine, and it was to the point I couldn't drive. I was taking like the handicap bus everywhere, and I walked with a cane, and I looked like I'd just come out of rehab. It was horrible. And anyway, so he's like, yeah, I'll order it. And that was the end of it. I said, well, how long does it usually take? He said, a month or two. It's now 3.5 months. And I wake up in the morning and I can barely walk. It's like, this is ridiculous. Okay, so we're again at the end here, and we are going to go through this bead. Really, there should be a bead in this section here, like a little X. But we're going to go through here. We're going to add that bead and then come down through this 11 O and then set ourselves up to add the 11 O's through these. So I think this is where some of the confusion was with me trying this years ago. So that's why I'm trying really hard to repeat it and show you. It's definitely easier to see when I can hold on to it. Okay, so we'll add that border bead that we want, because there's one here, then there's not here. So we have to add one now. Then take an 11 O or 8/0, sorry. Go through your 11/0 and your 8/0. Set yourself up for those 11/0s. This will be our last one, and then I'll show you the clasp situation. So I'll just keep going. So I saw my osteopath and my chiropractor, and both of them were like, that's ridiculous. You got to go to their office and talk to them. Because you try calling and it's an answering machine, like, and it reroutes you and then gives you a opportunity to leave a message. So nobody ever answers the phone, and they tell you in the message not to expect a call back. Period. They're so busy. So it's just ridiculous. So we went to the office, and I'll do one more while I'm jibber jabbering. So we went to the office. I brought my wife with me so she could, kind of back me up, kind of thing. So how it works is they have different offices. So I go to the one office and she goes, oh, that person that's his assistant is out of another office. And she's like, let me give you the number. I'm like, don't give me the number. I tried calling and leaving messages and emails. So I said, is there any way you can call her yourself so we can get this taken care of now? So she did. Now, I still haven't heard back from the lady, but apparently that test, I'm going to go through these 2 beads here from the previous row, then add my 2 like that, and go through those 2 beads again. And the reason being because we want to be able to go through these 2 to add that 11/0. So that's why I do this loop around. So now we can go through and add our next bead. So there. So look at how lovely this is. This is going to be gorgeous. Okay, so let's put a clasp on. So work this as long as you need it. And if you're doing, like I'm doing, one of these with an extender chain, then you could probably work to 6 inches, 7 inches, depending, how much of your chain you're going to have dangling. I don't particularly like chains dangling, but yeah, anyway. So let's put this aside and move these. It's funny, when I got these, I was like, I don't know what I'd use these for. And now I'm like, where do I order more? I'm so bad. I see stuff, I'm like, nah, I don't know. Now I'm like, I want. So let's get these guys here. We're going to use the 11/0s, and that's the same 11/0s. You know what? They look different color. I guess they're the same. They look brighter, like a light color next to these beads. These are pretty dark. So let me grab the first one. I think it has a needle on it. And I had it hooked into my mat. There we go. So that is this one here. So my idea was to add some beads across here, each of these sets of 11/0s, and add the clasp in that section. So I think we'll add the beads and then put a jump ring. Because sometimes like you can put it this way, but I feel like it twists it a bit. I don't know, am I overthinking it? I think I'm overthinking it. I'm going to go through the clasp. But I'm just looking at this, making sure. I just noticed, you see how it's not closed all the way? I did find some of these were, oh, this one's not working. I need a new one. I have to fix that one. You're able to fix them, but let me grab. I might have an extra lobster claw here. I actually like taking the lobster claws off of these ones because they're bigger. Well, they fit in the chain. That chain's pretty tiny. Where's my... Oh, they're right here. Let's just grab a new one. Okay. So I'm going to just, when I bead, I'm going to add the clasp right away. So let's move those over. So apparently I guess the doctor used to be able to order that test from his office. What I was going to say, these are sports medicine doctors. They have their own offices, but they bill to, like we have socialized healthcare. So they bill to, you know, it's called MSI here. But anyway, I guess part of that is ordering stuff. And he couldn't order the test. He had to contact them directly. So I never did get the scoop whether he had contacted them and whatever, but she assured me she was gonna look into it. But I didn't know what else to do. It's like, so I added 3 to the first 11-0. I'm gonna go through the first hole. Then I think I'm going to add 3 again and go through the second hole and see how that... It might give us a little bit of length. I kind of wanted it closer, but we'll see. So pick up 3 11-0s. We're going to go through the next 11-0. So that was yesterday. And what was frustrating about it is the day that he was supposed to order the test, I was going to call that person and, you know, say I'm available, short notice and stuff like that. So I would have, first of all, I couldn't get through, so it's kind of pointless, but it's so annoying. So now I've got 3 on here, and I'm going to go through. Actually, I think this will look kind of nice. You do have the option of using jump rings. I find that with jump rings on beaded, like bead weaving, is sometimes your thread will go through the jump ring. So if you don't have it closed all the way, so I don't like. So now I put 3 on and I'm going to go through the next. So that was the first and I'm getting, like, I'm in pain and I'm getting tired and I woke up a week ago and I couldn't put any pressure on my foot. I think I fractured my foot. And of course my family doctor's on vacation and it's just like, I'm not going to the emergency room for an x-ray. So in the meantime, I booked into physiotherapy and stuff like that. So we're going to go through the last loop. This is going to look really nice. I don't know why I'm surprised. You know, stuff like that happens to you and your confidence starts to deteriorate and you're like, oh, just one more thing. So I go see my psychiatrist every 6 months and I've been getting side effects of my medication. So initially when I told her what the side effects were, it didn't sound like she was going to do anything. So I am just pausing here. We're going to go through this 11-0. And I didn't realize we went through the first. I kind of wanted it centered, but it's hard to center this. When we go to the other side, which is the start side, this is the end side, your position of your little 11 O's are different, because if you look, there's a diamond here, so there's an 11 O here. Well, the next row, it's alternating. So it doesn't quite match on this side. So we'll just go through this 11O. I'm going to come back and go through this a second time and then go through each of them around. So we're going to go through this 11O. We're going to go down. And it's probably good to go down a row or two, since your clasp might pull on your beads. So let's pull that in there. This is cool. I'm liking it. Okay, so go back up. You know what? I think I'm going to go to the other side and come back around, because my thread will end up on the wrong side of the bead. So let's just go through like this and then come up the other side and do that again. So my psychiatrist said, well, we're going to reduce your medication. I really don't want it. Look, it looks really off. Oh, I don't. This makes me sad. Oh gosh, what am I gonna do? For the sake of the video, I guess I'll just. No, we need to take this off. That doesn't make any sense. That's just not right. I should be able to pull it through. Are you guys in it with me? It's only been 37 minutes. I got a lot of stories to tell. So I'm just going to go to the last one and pull. It should slide through everything. Yeah, look. I want it to look nice. Now just pull this off. Beads everywhere. Okay. Yeah, so the psychiatrist reduced it by a small amount. I'm on a special medication and I go to the pharmacy to pick up my prescription. And by the time I get to the front of the store, and Jen's at the front of the store, I said to her, I said, look what they gave me. And it wasn't the same medication, but it was in the same family of medications. And they gave it to me in like a tiny dose but then I had to take multiples of that pill because she reduced it by half a pill kind of thing. Oh, what a pain in the butt. So Jen's like, no, take it back. That's wrong, right? I should have taken it back, and now I've paid for it, right? So I think it's 1, 2, 3. I don't know why. I should be able to do this. Oh, I know what I was doing. I was going from one to the next 11O, and that's not right. So let me go to down. Oh, I guess I'm gonna have to do this one at a time here. Okay, go through the 11O just below. And go through the 3 middle 11Os. That's what I wanted to do. Like that. Do 3. And then let's go through the front of the clasp. We're going to add 3 to the back. And what we'll do is go to the other side. So the thread's coming out of this side of the bead. We're going to go to the other side. That should take care of it. And then we can set ourselves up for the next one. And then we'll come back and reinforce. That's better. Look at that. How did I mess that up? Too busy talking, Emma. So I get home, I call the psychiatrist because I thought maybe she did that error, like decided to totally change all my medication. So I called, left a message. She called me right back. She said, no, that's not what I ordered. And she goes, oh, I have it here on my screen. I can see what they gave you. That's not what I ordered. So she said, I'm really busy right now. You're going to be going back to the pharmacy. I said, yeah. And she said, well, if you have any problems, just have them call me. But in the meantime, you know, if you can take care of it, that'd be great. So, of course, I'm like upset all night thinking about it. And Jen's like, don't worry, I got it covered. I'm going to go, you know, back me up kind of thing. So I'm going to go to the other side of that same 11-0 here. And we get to the pharmacy, and it was one of the really nice young pharmacists. And Jen said to me, she goes, before we go in, we always strategize what we're going to say, right? And she said, just don't talk to the text, just ask for the pharmacist. Otherwise, you're going to be explaining your story 10 ways to crook it. So we get there, and I said, can I speak to the pharmacist? He said, yeah, of course. And then one of the other texts is like, oh, I can help you with that. And I said, no, I'd like to speak to the pharmacist. And like he was almost not going to let me. And the pharmacist poked her head up, and she's like, no, I got it, don't worry. So she came over and apologized. She said, no, this is a med error. This is not even the same medication. Thank goodness I know what I'm taking. You know, if I was incapacitated and counting on somebody else to be my support person, like, yeah. So anyway, that was like, you know, all this stuff gets on your nerves after a while. Oh, yesterday I come into my office to do a beading video. Everybody in the neighborhood was mowing their lawn. I could not believe it. Sounded like there was, I don't know, like a helicopter landing on my house. The everywhere. So this looks like it hooked on something. Oh, look, I hooked in the other loop. So let's go back through. Let's hope I can get this thread out the same way it went in. Oh, phew. It went across. I know you guys know what it's like. I mean, you know, from my demographics, everybody's around the same age. So I was trying to come through the back. That's probably why I did that. Look, that's better. Oh gosh, I was doing that out of frame. Yikes. Okay, I'm going to go through, and then we'll do the other side. So we can finish this up. Okay, I'm trying to take the shortcut to put my needle through and then through the beads, but it's not working, so shortcuts don't always work. Okie dokie. Let's go through here. I am going to go through the bead, the 11-0, and then I'm going to turn and go to the next one. I'm going to go through here and then down. There. And then go across 2 like that. And up. Through these beads here. Now we're ready. Let me go through the 3 and then through, and that hooked on the clasp there. Now go through these 11-0s and through. Go through the 11-0, up through the 8-0 and the 11-0. Oh, this is looking lovely. I'm so glad I, went ahead and changed it. That's the problem because I don't edit. So it's like you see what happens. This is the reality of beading. The ugly story of beading that nobody talks about. Just joking. Beading's always fun. This is gonna look amazing. Look at it. Okay. Enough shenanigans, Emma. I'm gonna go through a few, make a knot. I'm gonna grab a thread bridge here. And let me go through. Hang on to that. And go through this. There. Sweet. I'm just going to hide my thread here. I don't want it sticking out the side. There. And we'll do the other side. Let's take this needle. And so there's my stop bead, so don't forget. I think it was Jill Wiseman. I was watching one of her videos and she was talking about that. Yep, I've sewn in my stop beads. Okay. I think this needle that I'm using right now is a size 12. Might be good for, attaching. So this one here, it's funny. This shouldn't have been a problem. And you see how lovely it's centered. This is actually going to be the issue because we have 4 11-0s and we were using 3. So it's going to be off center. So now I think what we need to do is, let me see, 1, 2, 3. So we will put our loops between the 2. You'll see what I mean in a second here. You'll see what I mean, Vern. Let me turn my thread around. Go through here. There. Pick up 3 Oh, I gotta go through this 11-0. I'm getting all excited, and there's not much thread. My life. I have an easy life, so I don't mean to. So now let's pay attention. Pay attention, children. Make sure you put your clasp on the right side because this has a front with the nice sparkly, and the back is different. So I almost would have put it on this way, and it would be wrong. So take a look at your, so this has to go on this way. So we'll just hold it this way since we're going right to left. So then it's going to go here. So I'm going to go through that first hole, pick up 3 11-0s, and then go to the next. It's going to look a bit different on this side now that I think of it, because the loops are going to be next to each other. Oh well. If people are looking that close to your bracelet, I think that's a statement from Jill Wiseman too. They need to step back. I can't imagine she'd ever say something as forward as that. Okay, pick up 3, go through the next 11-0. This is looking lovely. Pick up 3, go through the loop from the front. Oh wait, no, that should have been through the back. No, I had it right. Through the front. It just looked like it was not in the right position. Pick up 3, go through this. I'm actually gonna go through on the other side of this 11-0, and then we'll loop this and then come back to the others. So let's go through here and pull everything so that it's tight. Let's go through these guys. Go through. I might have to go back on the other side for the other loops. Go through here. Then through these guys. Through here. Through here. I'm going to go down to the next one. Getting low on thread here. Mission critical. That seed bead is on the wrong side. How did it get over? Did I put 2? Oh no, that's fine. I miscounted. I was counting 4, but I didn't realize I was counting the bead that was part of the bracelet. I'm the bead police. You must remain in your lane. Okay, so we're just going to do that last one. I want to make sure that it's in nice and tight. Go through this 11-0. So Jen's doing pretty good. Her toe is still healing. Oh my gosh. What the heck? She's been in the water though. But that surgeon took a chunk of her toe out. I guess he didn't want her coming back. Okay, so let me go down a few beads so I can make a knot. You know what? I think I might do it right here. Just no, I wanna put my knot inside a seed, an 11-0. So that's my strategy. I don't know if it really helps, but I like to hide my knots. When I'm done, I like to hide my knots in the smaller of the beads because then I know it's going to stay there because it's stuck. But if you still have, now you can see I'm like at the end here. I can't loop my stuff around. So here's a little trick. Take your thread out, then loop it, do your loops, and then rethread it before you pull your needle out. And hopefully it's not too difficult to rethread. Oh, I had that. There we go. Like that. And pull your needle through. Tricks everywhere. So now I'm going to go through that 11-0. So the knot is sitting right here. I'm going to take and put it through this 11-0. It should tuck in there really nicely. Let's see. And you don't really see it. So let me just hide my tail. See where I'm at here. And cut it off. I'll probably go through this again just to tighten all the threads. And so it looks pretty good. There's the one side's a little wider than the other side, but you know what? You're not going to notice that. So this is what it's going to look like. Let's see if I can kind of show it to you so you can see the sparklies. Like that. So there you go. Thank you for joining me, and stay tuned for more of variations of this. I'll just give you a quick sneak peek at another way to do chenille, flat chenille. Oh, look at this. This is using cube beads and 50 no-seed beads. I also did one of these in white with, they're supposed to be, oh, here it is, with white cubes. Everything just went in the garbage. But I used 11-0 beads, and look at how it rounded it. It's gorgeous. Look at that. So stay tuned for those videos. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.